So this week, AOC, Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, publicly gave some terrible and erroneous tax advice pertaining to the stimulus payments, and both hilariously and ironically, the only network that published it was Fox News, and they did so uncritically. I will get to the details in a moment, but look, my point here isn't to crap all over AOC or Fox News for that matter. It's to point out that no matter your political leanings, okay, whether you're an AOC fan, I don't care. Whether you're a Fox News fan, I don't care. Now, if you like both AOC and Fox News, I would question the consistency of your political views. But my point is, whether you're an AOC fan or a Fox News fan, okay, no matter whom or what you listen to, you need to think for yourself. You need to look at the actual facts, in this case, the actual law, the actual CARES Act for yourself and see what it says. So please share this video with anyone you know who has a one-track political mind and who looks at some figure or network, be it AOC or Trump or CNN or Fox News or whoever or whatever, and takes whatever they say is absolute truth, because guess what? Not everything they say is absolute truth, okay? Look, I was able to hone in on this particular mistake, and literally no one else is talking about this. No one. Go ahead and Google it, because I'm a tax expert. But the truth is, there's BS everywhere on both sides of the aisle, and that's why you have to be a critical thinker for yourself. Okay, so I'm going to tell you exactly what AOC said and Fox News published in a minute, but just to give some context to the representative's tax advice, you need to know that some people are really getting shafted by the stimulus. There's no question about that. Consider dependent adults such as disabled adult children still dependent on their parents, or elderly parents whose children claim them as dependents. In both of these scenarios, the dependent doesn't get anything from the stimulus, and the person claiming them doesn't get anything for them either. And these are frankly people who probably need a little extra more than the average American right now. I know people caring for disabled adult children, and that's such a burden. And I also know people who are caring for elderly or sick parents, and I know that can feel like a full-time job. But to be honest, they got shafted at the stimulus bill. Another example of people who got left out is college students who are claimed as dependents by their parents. So parents can claim their children as dependents on their tax return, even if they're in college, if they're under the age of 24 and they are full-time students at least 5 months out of the year, and the parents provide more than half of their support. Now that's for tax returns. Now for stimulus purposes, in this situation, the parents can't get the $500 for them because they're age 17 or older, and the college student can't get the $1,200 because they're eligible to be claimed as a dependent. So Representative Ocasio-Cortez in a virtual town hall this week gave a little piece of tax advice for these students and their parents. Here's what she said, and I'm quoting. If you are 17 or older and you were filed as a dependent on someone else's tax return, there is no cash assistance that's offered to that person, so you do not receive a $1,200 check, and you are not counted as that additional $500 toward whoever's counting you as a dependent. So a lot of people are very concerned about this. My personal piece of advice would be that if you have not yet filed in 2019, talk to the person who is claiming you as a dependent and figure out if your personal situation would be better if you all filed separately, or if it ends up still being the best thing to do to file it together. So make sure you have that conversation, end quote. So what she's saying is, okay, college students, you need to figure out with your family and see if it makes more sense for your parents to claim you as a dependent, which means that they get tax benefits on their tax return. Say, for example, the American Opportunity Tax Credit for qualified education expenses they paid on your behalf, and you got to weigh those parental tax benefits with the $1,200 stimulus payment you'd get if your parents didn't claim you as a dependent. So that's AOC's erroneous tax strategy. Now, I'll take you to the actual law and tell you why it is erroneous in just a few minutes, but let me say again, the only network that has published AOC's stimulus tax advice is Fox freaking News, and they're not even critical of it. Look at this. AOC offers tax advice for young people to get around stimulus check exclusion, and they quote her here, and they show her virtual town here. Nothing critical at all. So, why is AOC in the article that Fox News published wrong? Okay, so AOC said that college students, you need to get together with mom and dad, figure out if it would be better for your mom and dad to claim you as a dependent so they can potentially get tax benefits, or for them not to claim you so you can get the $1,200 stimulus payment. But here's the thing. It doesn't matter if mom and dad claim you or not. Even if you're just eligible to be claimed as a dependent by them, no $1,200 stimulus payment for you. And I'm sorry, AOC, but a conversation doesn't change that. Don't believe me? I'll show you in the actual law. Here's the CARES Act. Here's the section on the stimulus payment. They call it 2020 Recovery Rebates for Individuals in the law. This section here, eligible individual, is where it defines who's eligible for a stimulus payment. It says, for purposes of this section, the term eligible individual means any individual other than, okay, so this is where they describe who can't get a stimulus payment, other than any non-resident alien individual. Okay, we know that you have to be a U.S. citizen or permanent resident. And then look at the next next one. Any individual with respect to whom a deduction under Section 151 is allowable to another taxpayer for a taxable year beginning in the calendar year in which the individual's taxable year begins. What does this mean? What is this Section 151? It's referring to Section 151 of the Internal Revenue Code, which is about personal exemptions. No, you can't take a personal exemption anymore thanks to the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, but still the CARES Act refers to it, and at the end of the day, this is talking about dependents. Okay, Section 151 of the Internal Revenue Code is about dependents. Now look closely at the language of the law. Does it say that you're not eligible if you're an individual with respect to whom a deduction under 151 was taken by another taxpayer? No, it says you're not eligible if you're an individual with respect to whom a deduction under Section 151 is allowable to another taxpayer. Allowable. That means whether they actually claim you or not. So college students, if your parents can claim you as a dependent, if it's allowable for them to do so, and you can somehow convince them not to, you are still not eligible for the $1,200 stimulus payment despite what AOC and Fox News told you. No one criticized AOC for this, and the one network I think that would have jumped at the opportunity to criticize her for this failed to do so and rather published her erroneous comments without criticism. I don't know how many people were listening to AOC in her virtual town hall or how many people have read this article on Fox News, but it makes me sad and frustrated that some people might lose money for listening to bad advice, and that's why I'm doing all this on my channel. I want to cut through all the crap out there and get you the facts that you need to know about the stimulus and other financial matters right now. So please share this with your friends and family who blindly take whatever their favorite politician or their favorite news network publishes and show them this video and tell them, hey, friend, family member, please think for yourself. If you like this content, please like and subscribe. Have a great weekend, you all, and I will see you tomorrow.